Hi, I'm meteorologist Alexandra Cranford at WWL Louisiana, getting you an update on what's happening on our Tuesday afternoon. We have a flash flood warning for a big chunk of Plaquemine, St. Bernard, Orleans, and Jefferson parishes centered on the corner of New Orleans, really right over Algiers, and a big chunk of the West Bank into Chalmette and south toward Belle Chasse. So we do have a flash flood warning until 2:45. Now, this is because 1 to 2 or so inches of rain fell, and there is more rain coming down. However, I will point out just a few minutes after this warning has been issued, the rain has already really weakened. So there could easily be some spots that fill up with water. If you know of those low-lying areas, underpasses, the spots that you know of that usually flood, they might have some water over them. But I am happy to see at least it isn't setting up and just continuing to rain super heavy for a really long time. It's much lighter now in this general spot that is outlined for the flash flood warning. But you can see how heavy it has been coming down. The rainfall rates today have been about 2 or so inches per hour on the higher end, and you can see easily why you would have, even if it's a little bit above that in some pockets of the storms, you get that rain coming down pretty fast, and it doesn't take too much to fill up some of those streets with water. So at least it is a lot lighter now for a large part of the warned area, but Braithwaite and English Turn areas around Belle Chasse, some heavier rain is there, and not far from Violet actually, which is officially just outside of the actual warned area. So I think you might have some issues if you're driving around. Just use a lot of caution, of course, when we have these heavy summer thunderstorms. I mean, it's pretty easy to realize when you're in the thick of it to slow down, leave lots of space ahead of you and so forth. But that's going to be what you want to do in this spot. Also, we're just now starting to see some of the heaviest rain that was over parts of the West Bank around Harvey, Gretna, and into Tarrytown and Algiers, shifting a little bit farther south. So south of Estelle, not far from Jean Lafitte. Also, we have a few more heavy downpours farther south, even toward the coast, not far from Galliano, around Chauvin, Leeville, not far from Grand Isle and Port Fourchon. We have some downpours and Cocodrie getting in on some rain too. I wanted to show you north of the lake. There is not as much going on, but certainly there is some shower and storm activity. Some outside of Picayune, Hammond, nice and cool right now, and a thunderstorm passing over. These have been moving gently off to the north and northeast. Not a whole lot of movement, but that is mostly where they've been drifting. And we look at our satellite and radar imagery, and we've been watching this really cool circle of clouds, and eventually they've been forcing up some showers and thunderstorms along that. That's that outflow coming from that big cluster of storms. It sends out a downdraft. The air hits the ground. It just kind of spreads out and almost acts like a little cold front. That cooler air is moving along the ground. It drives up the warm, moist air. And you can see the clouds form clearly on satellite imagery, and then also you can see sometimes showers and storms form along that as well. So today we had an interesting mix of scattered downpours just popping up from the heat, and then also some of these showers and storms entering our area from the west, and so that movement has been off to the north and northeast with at least some of these downpours because of that. So interesting to see. We're still just watching the flash flood warning as the main weather concern at this point, but just be aware we could continue through the afternoon with more of these kind of downpours because we are expecting rain chances to continue. Although actually today we are not highlighted for any specific flooding outlook. That's more to the north of us, and especially over parts of Arkansas into Oklahoma and Missouri. That's where a little higher chance for some flooding rain is. But along the Gulf Coast, we know we have all this Gulf moisture. We have a lot of heat. That temperature takes off until it reaches what's called the convective temperature, where you see showers and storms begin to form. So there's like a trigger temperature where you reach every day, and for us it's been happening lately right around midday. Very typical to see that, where you get the showers and storms forming, and then they're able to tap into a good bit of moisture. It's not historically high moisture here along the Gulf Coast right now, but it is somewhat high as we see in the summertime to produce those showers and downpours that can get heavy, at least at times. Thankfully, at this time, even though they are kind of slow moving, they are helping with the heat, and they can make a little bit of street flooding concerns here and there where it gets heavy, but they also haven't been lasting forever. You really need a much more moisture logged atmosphere to get the kind of downpours that just keep on raining for hours. So at least these have been raining themselves out, we say. They kind of go through their life cycle as a thunderstorm, and then they dry out. Also wanted to point out, look at the temperature, 77 for a lot of spots. So not feeling too bad thanks to the clouds and rain. Now, I do have a lot of spots touching 90 today or so, but a lot of us will be hovering in the 70s or 80s under any of those downpours. Our highs today about 92 or so, probably officially, and in spots where you're not getting the rain just yet. If you are just simmering in the 90s at this point, you could get an afternoon scattered shower or storm. And then moving into tonight, our temperatures will be back into the 70s and our rain chance will be going way down once again. So just to leave you really quickly, just with what is happening with our current radar scene, we've been joining you for about 5 minutes or so to get you the latest. Let me just prop up our radar again so you can see how much rain is out there. There's actually not all that much rain, not completely widespread anyway, but there are certainly pockets of the showers and storms. And so you do have a fairly high chance to get at least some kind of rain or some period of rain today. Flash flood warning again until 2:45, so we have about another hour or so. The big thing that I was highlighting though is that it is a lot lighter now, so you might encounter some problems if you're driving around, but at least it's not just continuing to dump exactly the same amount of rain at those high rainfall rates like it was earlier. It's a lot lighter now, so if you need to get out and about, just use extreme caution. Flash flood warning will go for another hour or so until 2:45, and that's for that big chunk of Orleans, Jefferson, Plaquemines, and St. Bernard parishes. So we'll let you go now. Do just use caution over the next couple of days, the next few days, as we are expecting some elevated rain chances pretty much each day this week. We'll have those scattered downpours, maybe causing a few issues here and there, that kind of nuisance rain, but also helping with the heat a lot. At least at times. You could still warm up in the afternoons after you get your downpour and you feel that kind of hot, humid, steamy kind of feel. But in any case, we'll leave you for now. Thanks for joining us. We'll have more if needed as we head through the rest of this afternoon. You can always find us on Channel 4, WWLTV.com, and also more on WWL+.